You know, it's a great place, Wayne. I'm familiar with it, and the people that work there and the people that operate it are very dedicated. I met some a few years ago. I met some of the young people that come there as counselors for the summer, and I was really impressed. So apparently, those you select those people, and they're paid,
Right.
and usually they're many of them are college students or college age generally. Uh, but I think it's a fantastic thing that's done. That's just one thing. I noticed going back to your theme, I'll remind you of another thing at Camp Barrett you have once a year, and that's members of families of Elks that can come and participate. I forget what the name of the annual event is.
Well, we have an annual family picnic,
That's it.
which is on Memorial Day weekend every year,
Hmm.
and it's open to the public, family members, friends of Elks,
Hmm.
and we have a great time. It's usually the Sunday before Memorial Day,
Hmm.
and it's a long-time tradition that hasn't faded. We've continued to have almost 1,000 people show up every family picnic day.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Right.
And it goes right back to what you said about having people involved with the members, their friends even, their family, and that's a lot of people I think too in support are willing to do some things, but their time is precious too, the members' families' time. And if they feel like with all the other things you're doing, they're making a contribution in that way, I think they get more out of that than anything else. But to bring the family together, I know it's very successful. Over the years, it's just seemed to have grown in numbers. And yet, as I remember people talking about it, and you had a couple of members that were quite active that were actually at Camp Baird. That was your people that went there. And, some of those are gone. I don't know them. But I do remember the excitement of those events every year, and the kids coming there was quite fantastic.
Right.
Uh, so thank goodness there's still organizations that are doing that. For a lot over the years, they've moved away from a lot of activity things. But when your organization, a not-for-profit organization, your charitable work is the main part of why you're there. Uh, I don't know of any other reason that a person would come out and volunteer um, with the kids unless they also love kids. So that's obviously a very super program you had for a very long time. What else would you like to talk about programming?
Well, we
Uh,
have also, since we're on the subject of the Camp Barrett,
mm-hmm.
we have another successful program that we do in conjunction with the Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
We have what's called Camp Paris.
Mm-hmm.
It's in November this year. It coincides with a Naval Academy football game, and Scouts get to come out, camp out on the fields, out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we had almost 1,200
Mm-hmm.
come out, kids and adults come out for that. It was quite successful. Um, our other major project that we do at Bowie Lodge is our veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Our veterans, we have a group of people who visit Baltimore Veterans Medical Center every couple of months. We meet and talk with the veterans, the patients there, and hand out comfort bags. And it's a very enjoyable time. And if you ever had that opportunity to talk with these men and women who've served our country and protect us, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. And I've noticed a lot of other write-ups in the Elks magazine about those events, those trips. You know, Wayne, I think we probably want to get into how people can join the Elks town. Although we got about 10 minutes left on the program,
Right.
I won't not miss getting that in.
Sure.
So how do you suggest that people that are interested in becoming a member and joining in the effort you're doing in the charitable area, working with veterans, youth, drug awareness programs, and also the actual what I feel like is very important to organizations help is to working with each other, getting these things accomplished.
Right.
So how would I become a member if I were not now?
Well, to become a member, one of the items is obviously it's good if you know a fellow elk. If you do not, we'll be glad to sit down and talk to you about it, and drop by any lodge, Bowie Lodge in particular. Drop by, pick up an application. In fact, I've had 2 recent inquiries by email.
No.
In fact, I'm going to be meeting with one of them tomorrow evening who's wanting to join.
That's great.
Back in his day, he was a member of the Elks. Now, I'll take that back. He was a member of the Scouts who had their scouting dinner awards at Bowie Lodge some 20 years ago. So he's returning and wants to participate, get involved, and so we're willing to talk with anybody who qualifies, and the qualification simply is an American citizen, over 21, and believing in God.
That's great.
And or drop by the lodge.
That's great.
And if you drop by the lodge, you want to speak with an officer or myself, the bartender in charge will be glad to give me a call, and I'll show up if I can.
That's great. And you can, with this card, you can get into any Elks club in the country.
The uniqueness about your membership card is once you're a member of a lodge, you're a member of all lodges throughout the United States.
That's
all
great.
You have to do is walk up, ring their doorbell, and be admitted, show your card, and you're like you've never left your own lodge.
I think that's fantastic, and that was part of the thing in the economic development I mentioned, that a lot of people that were members of organizations where they were transferred from, and I don't know if there's a lot of transferring of people going on now in business, but except in the military, there's a great deal of that because of our bases that are being expanded in this area. So you may see some growth from people that were, like you said, they had some connection prior years ago. So I appreciate that, and I think the difference in probably, I was thinking of this, I met a person that recently moved back to this area from South Carolina. They were a former D.C. government employee, and they were part of the Masons. And I thought, gosh, at his age, why would he want to get back involved? But all of a sudden, he showed up at the local Mason. I think more of that is happening because a lot of people that lose members of the family, it seems like the first thing to think about is their association with other people. I know when I have lost some friends that were in organizations, the family almost expected you to be there at their time of need. And I've noticed that the Elks do that when they're members. We'll get back to strictly the member or member of the family. I noticed there's some great deal of effort to show up. And this particular thing that you do for the fallen elk member, can you give us an idea how that is? I think it's very impressive.
Yeah, we feel that you're a brother or sister with us for a lifetime. And again, if the member passes away, we do offer a funeral ritual. We will come, the officers will come and perform a ritual at the funeral home or at the gravesite. Haven't done one personally, but we do offer that as well. And even if we don't provide a funeral ritual, most of the time we'll attend the viewing just to show our appreciation and show our respect for the member and comfort the family.
That's great, and I've heard a lot of comments about that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another tradition that when you're in the lodge, that happens a certain time of the day. That's at, what, 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock. 11 p.m. is the 11th hour toast.
Mm-hmm.
It was started back when it was organized. It was a ritual that was performed at 11 o'clock because most places closed down at 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the Jolly Corks, as they were originally called, ended their day. And if we are open to have a function, we will end that function, or at least at 11 o'clock stop, and the presiding officer, usually myself, will perform the 11th hour toast.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that seems to round out the program of representing your lodge and Elks today. But there are some parts about satisfaction of people being a part of something, not only just to get things done in their effort, charitable effort, but also the fact that there's a great deal of strength in having brotherhood in your organization and organizations, period. And it's obvious when I meet Elks and know Elks, and I know a lot in your lodge, our lodge. And I noticed down in Leonardtown, that lodge, have you visited that lodge there?
Leonardtown would be St. Mary's?
St. Mary's. Yeah.
I have one time, yes.
Yeah, I have one time.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when you walk in the door and they don't recognize you and you tell them who you are, you immediately feel welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, we've got to wrap up, Wayne. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to? We have a phone number they can reach you by. I might mention again at the end of the program, Jan put in numbers and communication methods they could get through to you that'll be on tape. And I want to remind you, if you channel 11 for Verizon, Prince George's County, and Comcast 77, but we'll be on YouTube tonight. This program will. And I think you can see at the bottom of, Jan will give you some stuff. And if you'll pass that word out, that'd be the thing to do. Well, thanks for being here.
Right. Thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's really well, and I think you did great.